What's up guys, welcome to Tech Savvy Buyer. So there's an interesting subject that's floating all around YouTube and the internet revolving the PlayStation Classic and the lackluster games that came out with it. And after seeing so many of these different videos, I wanted to kind of give my piece on it because I am on the extreme opposite end of what people are saying. So I wanted to give, my point of view on why I think that whoever's canceling their pre-orders right now is just wrong. You shouldn't be doing something like that. And basically, I don't see where all the hate is coming from towards Sony on, them trying to, let's say, jump on the bandwagon like Nintendo is doing and putting some classic games on there. But nonetheless, I guess, that's the thing about systems like this where you've got massive libraries to choose from, and with corporations and their decisions to put certain titles on there, as end users, we might not understand what went behind that thought process. So let's go ahead and take all of that stuff aside, and I'm going to walk you guys through why I have not canceled my pre-order coming up. Welcome to Tech Savvy Buyer. So guys, like I mentioned, I wanted to share with you why I did not cancel my pre-order for the PlayStation Classic. Obviously this is not the classic one, I don't have it yet, but this is the original one. Now, let's put some things aside, okay? So they came out a couple weeks ago and they released the full library of games, and since then there's just been nothing but a slew of people giving shit to Sony for not putting their favorite games on it. And one thing I want to say, you guys, if you've been following my channel for any length of time now, you'd probably have noticed by now that in my comments as well, I always tell you guys that gaming is a subjective experience. I don't believe in fanboy wars between Xbox and PlayStation. I tend to have a preference myself, and it used to be PlayStation, not so much anymore. I think whenever a console manufacturer makes something, just enjoy it for what it is. It's offering something that somebody likes, and at the end of the day, we're all different people. Who wants a world where everyone is identical? That's going to be pretty boring if you ask me. I want to be different than everyone else. I want people around me to be different than I am. That's how you learn, and that's how you grow and you develop as a person individually. So moving away from the philosophical talk here, what I'm trying to say is, just because you major YouTubers out there, or you major review networks, IGN, GameStop, CNET, all of you guys who got your hands on the PlayStation Classic, just because you didn't like that personal choice of games that are on there, it didn't suit you, doesn't mean that there aren't millions of people out there that would not enjoy that. And I'm going to say this from my opinion, okay? So every review, guys, even whatever I say, all reviews are formed off of an opinion. You can be a subject matter expert, whether it's in PCs, whether it's in gaming, or whatever. Ultimately, all you're giving your viewers, like I'm giving you guys, is an opinion. Now, that opinion might carry some weight because of what I do in my professional life, or what I do for a living, or, there could be different factors which you're going to consider that tell you, okay, this person and the review that they're giving, they're a credible person, and what they're saying makes sense. But still, it's subjective. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean there aren't tons of people out there that don't like it or like it. There's tons. Now, I've got the list of games here because I couldn't remember all 20 of them, obviously. But just looking at this list, people gave a lot of crap to Cool Borders 2. I liked that game a lot when I was playing PlayStation. I played it a lot. I used to have my little neighbor, or my next door neighbor, his name was Benny. He was younger than me. He used to come over almost every day. Me and him used to play PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, up until those days before I'd moved away, unfortunately. But we played a lot of games. Metal Gear Solid was definitely up there. Siphon Filter was on there. Ridge Racer was on there. Twisted Metal was on there. Tekken 3 was on there. There was quite a few games that's coming on the Classic that I enjoyed a lot. Now, of course, there's always gonna be those games that you wish were on there. There's only 20 games on there, for God's sake. They're not shoving 5,000 games in there or the full library. And for whatever reason, it's not because they don't realize that people like certain games over others. There could be licensing issues behind it. We all know that's more than likely true when it comes to the Gran Turismo franchise, where all the vehicles used in it required licensing by those manufacturers. Can you imagine how much of a pain in the butt it would have been for Sony to go and do that just to sell a nostalgic little console for $100? I mean, to me, it doesn't seem worth doing that. the point of them launching this is not just to follow what Nintendo is doing. It's because they want to bring their gamers back to where Sony's core began from, where it started from. If we look at it, just a couple months ago, they launched the 500 million edition PlayStation 4 Pro. They've sold 500 million PlayStation, guys. That's not something that you're just going to take lightly. I mean, that's something you can go and beat your chest like King Kong and say, hey, I sold 500 million units of PlayStations starting from this guy. So there's probably more reason and thought behind the PlayStation Classic, the way they designed it, the things that they included with it, other than just, oh, Sony's just trying to make a quick buck here. I don't believe that that is the case specifically. Now, in terms of the game selection, yes, they released the full catalog of the 20 games. Like I said, some of those were fine with me. Of course, I would have liked to see a bunch of games on there. But am I going to make a video to you guys and say, hey, they should have put this game, they should have put that game, they should have put this game, and it would have been the best? Let's be honest, guys. When Nintendo came out with the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, there were games on there that were good, arguably, okay? And again, this is subjective, right? So I might think it's good, you might not think it's good. But what happened within 1 week of its release? Thoughts? It got hacked. People knew that with that device, they can go ahead and load whatever game they want and play it on there and still get the nostalgic feeling of having that physical console there. We've had ROMs and games and emulators and stuff for decades now. This isn't something new. I remember playing Super Nintendo ROMs on a PC that I think was like Windows 98 or something. Or something like Windows 2000, I don't know. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but my point is it's been more than 10 or 15 years since Super Nintendo was hacked. But why did people go ahead and do that with the Super Nintendo Classic? Because they just wanted to see the actual device. I can almost guarantee you that the PS Classic is going to be hacked, and it is going to get all the games that you've been wanting to play on the system. Now let's move on to the controller. A lot of complaints there why the controller doesn't have DualShock or doesn't have the analog sticks. They're shipping with the original controllers. The original PlayStation, when launched, did not have analog sticks in the box with the controllers. It wasn't part of it. It was something they innovated down the road. And now it's become a part of their every single system since then has always had analog sticks with it. In fact, arguably, other console manufacturers took the design and tried to make it better and copied it in a way, you know? Xbox, fine, you offset the buttons or the joysticks, but you still basically put joysticks on there like Sony had. So my point is like, we know that there's going to be third-party accessories that are sold for it. There's going to be wireless ones. At least they're USB ones. There's bound to be some kind of homebrew, some kind of hack that's going to come out where you can probably use a DualShock 4 with the Classic. And so I don't want to rant too much on this, but I really felt compelled to let you guys know I have not canceled my pre-order. While I'm not a fan to ever recommend someone to pre-order something, I can tell you there are certain things when you know what you're getting, you know exactly what it is, the price is right for you, feel that it's fair, and you're also uncertain if you're going to be able to purchase this because of its high demand. Just because a few people are canceling their pre-orders and going all haywire on it doesn't mean the masses are as well. So chances are if you canceled your pre-order, you're probably going to have trouble finding this in stores come around Christmas time or when it gets launched. There's a reason why they chose to release this in December. They know people are buying stuff around Black Friday and right after leading up for Christmas gifts. And what better to give someone who you know has grown up with the PlayStation, the original one, a gift. Frankly, I would love if this was something that my wife would gift me. It would bring back so many memories. Of course, I never give her the chance to because I'm always buying all this stuff ahead of time. I never give her the chance to. But my point is, when you look at the game library, yes, to some people it's lackluster. To me, it's not. I don't think it's lackluster. It's got 5 or 6 games on there that I personally really enjoy, and to me, that gives me my money's worth just to have that nostalgic feeling. I was never going to play all 20 games anyways. And that's another thing. Yes, it's a classic. We live in a generation where we're spending $1,200 to $1,300 on a graphic card, yet we're going ape over consoles that are coming out remade retro with 15 or 32-bit graphics in this case. 32-bit, guys. You know how old that is? How many of you are actually going to sit there and play Resident Evil, let's say, that's included on this? Even if they say, oh, I wish Legend of the Dragoon was on there. Oh, I wish, I personally wish Dino Crisis was on there. I am probably not going to sit down and spend hours upon hours upon hours playing this from a game from beginning to end. It's meant for you to jump in, get a taste of it, live it through, and that's it. Now, again, this is subjective, guys. You might argue completely against what I'm just saying. You might be thinking, no, I want to play all those games. Well, that's great. And for that, you have some options to do so. So, in other words, to wind up, stop whining, stop moaning. This is not bad, okay? This is pretty good. I don't know why people are going crazy. I would take GameSpot, IGN, and CNET with a grain of salt when you watch their video review on it. They totally trashed it, and I don't think they did justice to Sony for this. I really think it's unfair. I personally am going to support. I'm not canceling my pre-order. As you guys can see, I did not cancel my pre-order, and I'm not going to cancel my pre-order. I'm pretty sure it's going to be hacked. I'm pretty sure I'll load up games on there as well. I'm not afraid to do it. I've got a bunch of original titles lying around as well that I have no problem backing up and loading up on there if I need to. So with that being said, guys, I want you to just be open-minded when it comes to things like this. Don't take anyone's opinion to heart, not even mine, okay? Even what I'm telling you, I'm not trying to sell you to go and put a pre-order in or not cancel your pre-order. I'm simply telling you there's two sides to a coin. Just because there's a bunch of videos out there of people trashing it doesn't mean that there aren't other people out there that are actually praising it. So always keep that in the back of your mind. Gaming in its essence is a subjective experience. Yes, we try to aim towards the masses because something is considered wildly successful because a lot of people like it. It doesn't mean there's no one that hates it. I have tons of people come in my comment section that tell me God of War is a crap game. And that to me is like shocking. I would never say that about God of War. I think that's an amazing game, but that's me, right? I look at some other games that I don't, and I'll be honest, Red Dead Redemption 2, a lot of glowing reviews. Everybody loves it. I find that game too slow to play. That's me. I love GTA 5. I love Rockstar as a whole, everything they put out. I like the first Red Dead. I found Red Dead Redemption 2 too slow, and maybe it's because I'm playing it wrong. You guys can give me crap for that. That's fine. But when I have a full-time job, I try and do videos for you guys. I've got a 2-year-old daughter. I've got other responsibilities that I got to take care of, so I don't get the time to invest in gaming like I did when I was a teenager or when I was in college. Now life is different, and you got to choose wisely what you want to play and spend time accordingly. For me, the games at this age of my life and this phase of my life that attract me most are the ones that I can just pop in, play, like Call of Duty, for example. That's why I like it. I can play around, play 2 maps, end it, and that's it. And I'm not worried about my progress or whatever. But back to the subject here, take the opinions with a grain of salt. PlayStation Classic, I'm not canceling mine, and I don't think you should if you like any of the games on this list. Guaranteed it's going to be hacked. More than likely you'll be able to put whatever it is that you want on there, and you'll still have your device to plug into your TV, so physically you're like connected with your PlayStation and you can see it. That's what brings back the emotions. It's not just seeing the games, it's actually seeing the device itself. So, sorry for ranting on this, guys. I just felt automatically compelled that I needed to answer this, and I needed to address this thing. But other than that, I hope you guys are well. As usual, if you watch this video and you kind of jive with what I'm saying here, let me know in the comments below. Go ahead and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until then, guys, I'll see you on my next one. Take care.